Folks, welcome back to Dark Room Reviews. Today we're going to be diving right into another Marvel film that is 2014's Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Now this is the sequel, the follow-up to Captain America, The First Avenger. Now keep in mind this sequel didn't come out until the second phase of Marvel's whole blueprint, what they were going for. Now in this video I'm not going to be really discussing the Avengers. No, this is going to be strictly Steve Rogers and what he's been up to. There is a lot I loved about this movie, and each time I watch it I appreciate it more and more. It's directed by the Russo brothers, who, as you know, later on went on to direct a few more projects for Marvel. Joe and Anthony Russo sure know how to direct an action film. I watched this yesterday and it popped into my head that one could argue that this is one of the greatest action films. As Steve Rogers struggles to embrace his role in the modern world, he teams up with a fellow Avenger and S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Black Widow to battle a new threat. Yeah, this film stars Scarlett Johansson, Anthony Mackie, Samuel L. Jackson, and so many more. This film offers really cool, really interesting plot points. And this was the peak. This is like the rise of Marvel. And I love that they brought these different aspects to the table. So I want to talk about the first plot point. We are introduced to Anthony Mackie. He plays a war veteran. He has a job at the VA hospital. He eventually becomes friends with Steve Rogers, and the two, chat it up. Samuel L. Jackson then comes into the picture, talks to Steve Rogers and saying, hey, we have this organization called S.H.I.E.L.D., and it's to protect mankind from any threats. And once Chris Evans' character hears about this, he's his impression is, well, that's great and all, but what we're really doing is scaring people. We're trying to protect people out there, but this is really just, you're creating fear. I really liked Steve Rogers' response to that. This movie is not afraid to dip its toes into politics, into espionage, who you can trust, who you can't. Before I get into the next plot of this movie, the only downgrade about this movie is Steve Rogers is coping with this new world. And Anthony Mackie asks him, what do you want to do with your life? And he's, simple answers like, I don't know. He has the world at his fingertips, essentially. And he has no clue what he wants to do. I wanted to dive a little bit more into that aspect of Rogers' character. So like I said, there's already conflict between Steve Rogers and Nick Fury. Along the way, we also get introduced to Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson. Now, she's done some work too. She was a big character in Iron Man 2, The Avengers, obviously. Her and Chris Evans, they have like chemistry, but it's all about business between those two. There's no romantic gestures thrown at us. It's strictly, work stuff. And she gets caught in the web, essentially, of this situation, which I'm about to talk to next in the second plot. We find out that Nazi organization Hydra is still amongst society and are responsible for a lot of terrorist attacks. And once we find out that information, with Rogers and Scarlett Johansson, they go down a rabbit hole. They discover that there is a supercomputer. So basically a lot of high-powered government agents are part of this evil organization. Hydra has also corrupted S.H.I.E.L.D., which is supposed to be our ally. There's a lot of high tension in this movie. A lot is at stake. Every character is so crucial to the narrative. As the movie continues on, S.H.I.E.L.D. is exposed, and to make matters worse, and Hydra have a secret weapon, a character that we're introduced to, Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. Now, and this is another reason why I love this movie. Now here, it turns out that he was left for dead, and Hydra tortured him and brainwashed him. His main objective is to take out Steve Rogers, is to take out Black Widow. That addition to this movie makes it that much greater. This movie really surpasses your expectations. Like I said, it's a complicated plot. but at the core of this movie are our heroes. And of course, we're rooting for them. And it puts Steve Rogers in a position to where he has to put himself aside and save the world. This movie gives Captain America a lot of badass moments in the second and third act, heavy with the action sequences, and they are so well put together and well deserved. By the third act, it's up to our heroes to save the day. Steve Rogers is on one of the SHIELD helicarriers in the sky, and he has to implant this device on stop the terrorists, essentially. There is a big fight between him and Winter Soldier, and it gets personal. I love that it's not just a brawl. There is the history between them. It's personal. Captain America's like, hey, we've known each other since we're growing up. Bucky, it's me. And it really comes down to a life or death situation between the two. And it makes for great entertainment. Every plot line is so like deserving. Every last bit of it, you eat it up. You want to know how everything's going to turn out. And I'm going to give a special shout out to Robert Redford. He is sort of in charge of SHIELD. He has this high-powered job. He's also a key player to this corrupt organization. There's so many moments in this movie that stick out. Anthony Mackie, I feel like this is his breakout performance. His really introduction to Falcon, and we get to see him with his suit and the wings, and how he's just a total superhero. And it's fun to see him just, flying around and helping out with the Avengers. By the end, it's not, a one and done. This, there's going to be a continuation of these. We'll see these characters again. If you have not seen this movie, go in with high expectations. You go in ecstatic, as excited as you can. As you can tell, this is a pretty positive review. So my final grade for Captain America, the Winter Soldier, is an A. Guys, what are your thoughts on the Winter Soldier? How long has it been since you've seen it? Let me know in those comments below. Look forward to more content very soon as we inch closer to Captain America: Brave New World. Stay tuned for more content, guys. Take care.